What's up? Oh, that's just telling everybody we're live here at Screen Fiend. Well, we're live here on Screen Fiend. And let's talk about the Snyder Cut. 4 hours long, baby. And I've seen it twice. So let's get into it. Why was this such a successful move? One of the most successful things DC has done since the Dark Knight trilogy that they pulled off. This has been one of the best moves they've done yet. Well, when you look at Zack Snyder's Justice League and you look at what it details and you look at how of course, you're going to compare it to the changes that was made by Josh Whedon, and you wonder and you start thinking to yourself, why was this even an option? And on top of it all, there were a lot of, let's say, questions that needed to be answered. Where were they going to go? What was Warner Brothers' decisions? Because there were a lot of things that transpired there that should have never went down in movie history. Like, a lot of things were blown way out of proportion and taken out of context completely too far. So when you start seeing a lot of things transpire. I know for us it was different. Watching the what's they call it, the piogram move around, you start looking at, okay, is this an action movie? Is it a drama? And Zack Snyder is good for visual aids, but his movies don't always flow well together. He's good at making action scenes and making them very dark. Even his color scenes are always like a faded, bland color. It's not bright colors. He's not a bright color guy at all. Everything about him is gloom. And his daughter Autumn committed suicide. And they had to stop everything. Now, here's the thing about what makes this better than what it was originally going to be at the movie theaters. Had Zack Snyder finished this movie, you would have never saw what you saw today, or saw now rather, on HBO Max. Because you would never be able to put a 4-hour movie at the movie theater. It would have never been in there. Most of that stuff would have been on the editing room floor, because you got to have space and time for movies. You got to think about it. You're renting out all these theaters. You're going to condense it down to maybe 2-3 hours so that you can get more runtime in the day to keep showing the movies for the next people that's coming in to watch it. If you got a 4-hour movie, you're only getting 4 plays out of that in a day. If that, you got to think movie theaters close at a certain time. So you got to try to, buy out how many theaters are going to be showing the movie and all this. So when this is all done, now that you got streaming networks, you can make it as long as you want, because you're going to have those people in their attention span watching this for a 4-hour entirety on that streaming service. And now since that's happened, people was like, but yeah, but after you watch it once, you ain't gonna go back. They know that. It's like watching a movie. You're gonna go back and watch certain scenes that you like over and over again. But you guess what you're doing? You're back there, giving the stream viewership. That's like going back to one of our live streams and just watching a piece of it. We still get credit for the view. So no matter if you're going back to watch it for 2 hours or watch it for 30 seconds or watch it for 2 minutes, we still get credit for having the view. The duration helps, but most people are going to go back and watch it from certain parts on, and they're going to watch certain scenes. Then they're going to compare it to the Josh Whedon version. So in the first 30 seconds of the Justice League Snyder Cut, it starts off already better than the original Justice League. The direction changed immediately when you hear Superman yell and it cracks the mother boxes and makes the mother box and activates the mother box. So that opening, the battle, what they call Tomorrow or whatever, where Wonder Woman's from, the Amazonian, when that was light years better. And it was more dynamic than what you saw in the Snyder Cut. I mean, in the Josh Whedon. And in Josh Whedon's defense, people got to stop blaming Josh Whedon. He did what Warner Brothers hired him to do. They wanted to be more colorful. They wanted to not be as dark. They wanted to be uplifting like the Marvel movies. They wanted Josh Whedon to do what he did with the Avengers. And it's just that the Justice League is not that. They're not the Avengers. Okay, and what he was doing was making them more like the Avengers. Everything he did with Superman, I kind of disliked. What Josh Whedon did with Superman was take them to a whole nother realm on where they were going to go with Superman down the road for the next two movies. And that's what was set up with all this. But now DC is going to screw it all up again. But we'll get there. Now, you see the difference in the beginning of the movie and the way the artwork and what they were allowed to do and how they had my man looking like his armor. He looked completely different than what you saw when he was on the Josh Whedon version. We know that he somewhere down the road had failed Darkseid. He was trying to make an amends for himself. We didn't really get that from the Josh Whedon version. We didn't really get that. Now, I don't know if that was part of the extra money they got because they're doing this HBO Max and they put more money into it, so they were able to make the version that they wanted to make as far as with the CGI. Well, Steppenwolf was badass in this one. Way more than he was in the original. You got to see him really shine a little bit more viciousness. I mean, some of the CGI didn't work. You can tell it was like really bad CGI at some point. Like some of the Wonder Woman scenes were not really that good. But the scenes that you saw that were in the Josh Whedon ones are the scenes that most people liked when they saw the Josh Whedon version. The one that came out with that Josh Whedon finished. The shots that they had filmed Most of those were Zack Snyder shots. And this is why I like the way Patty writes for Wonder Woman, but this is what Patty needs to stop doing. You don't need that much slow-mo with Wonder Woman. Not everything needs to be slow-mo. She over you kills the slow-mo. You could show Wonder Woman in fast motion doing things. And this is why it's Wonder Woman 2. I had my critical response to it was just too much slow-mo. But like when she was running down and blocking everything, pop, 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 that whole scene in there was perfect because she was knocking people out. She was doing what she needed to do. No, no. The thing was, this is just a different of direction. She was able to compete in fast action and showing her in fast motion doing things is almost better. You can slow down certain scenes, but it's just at certain points, it's not necessary. It's like we don't need to see Wonder Woman slow mo here. We cool on that. This is what we need to see right now. I felt that the difference in this, and the only drawback I really had was Iris West. I could see why they cut that out. She was not good. She was terrible. Iris West, that was the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. I let me take that back. Unless that's what the director wanted. She was so bland. She had no like chemistry at all. I'm like, you flying out of a car, boom, there's no eyes, like she's caught into she's just her scene in the car, starting the car up, it's just Iris West was terrible. I hope they don't go down the storyline of using her. Acting good at all. It was cliche terrible. Well, they don't owe him an apology. They did the best apology in the world. They let him finish the movie. I mean, his daughter committed suicide. How's that Warner Brothers' fault? But the thing is, they were moving on. They were moving on from Zack Snyder. That's why Josh Whedon was there. He was going to take over a lot of the stuff that they gave to Zack Snyder because Suicide Squad didn't do well. Didn't do what they expected to do, even though I thought it was all right. But Zack Snyder made a mistake not making the Joker the villain at the end. And that alone just made people just hate the movie and like the movie was bad, and it really wasn't. Well, you have many different like elements involved, period. Because you get to learn about Cyborg, and this is what I waited to do this video so y'all can hear it. Warner Brothers wanted the cut. When they looked at the cuts, they cut out mostly all the scenes with Cyborg, because even though Cyborg is one of the most powerful one of all of them, because he's made of the mother box, he's one of the most powerful ones, and he keeps evolving like Ultron. The thing about him is that he's an important figure in the Justice League, but he's black. Warner Brothers did not want to dedicate so much of the time from an unknown star and character to be having a flushed out story. Him taking up most of the space, plus he's black. They're looking like, well, in the Euro market, that's not going to really take off. So there's too many scenes in building up his character. Why? He's a third character. We need to focus on Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman. That's it. So that's where Warner Brothers is thinking at. Let's focus on the stars. Flash could have some little moments. That's cool. We can get Ezra Miller in there for comedy relief. And, Cyborg is just there to help them out. He's the help. And that's how the first Justice League movie looks. He's just there to help. He's a spoiled, pouty little kid who's mad that he got saved and turned into a cyborg. No, Ben Affleck is not a better Batman than Keaton. But then again, he didn't really have any continuity with Batman. He had to play the Batman that was provided to him. He didn't get a chance to play a Keaton type of Batman. Well, the thing is, when they did the finishing touches of the movie, they had to do reshoots. So when they brought everybody back, Affleck was out of shape then. They had filmed this movie. They filmed 3 movies basically back to back. They were filming Justice League scenes after they just filmed, because they were sure Batman and Superman was going to be a mega hit. So when they were filming Batman versus Superman, they went immediately into to Suicide Squad. So they filmed Suicide Squad at the same time. Now, Batman and Superman don't really do what everybody thought it was going to do, because Deadpool came out and crushed them. And now they're like, oh, wow, Deadpool came out of nowhere and did way better than them. So when Deadpool was out, it crushed them. So all of a sudden, now they already filming Suicide Squad at the same time. So that's why when Batman was in Suicide Squad and had his little scenes in there, they were already filming. So that way, when they started that, they had to go into Justice League because it was already set up for them to go into it. And Affleck was only going to be in shape before he started going to do other films. He allocated himself so they could film these films, in succession. So as soon as that was done, so they basically shot for a whole year. Everybody had to clear their schedules and, go ahead and do all these shoots. So when they went to make the movie again and do the Justice League, Batman when Zack Snyder was doing it, Ben Affleck was in shape at the time. So he was built up for the role to play Batman. So when they filmed the action scenes, all these other scenes. Now, if you look at the reshoots, you see the Zack Snyder cut, and then you see Josh Whedon's cut. Affleck is definitely fatter. You can tell the jaws is all big. He's not looking really like Batman. He's more like Bruce Wayne who let himself go. And you could tell the direction is entirely different. The theme is different. It's not about the movie anymore. It's not about the Justice League. It's about just all kind of soap opera things to try to sell the movie. And that's what happened with Josh Whedon's first one. And it was a good movie because it had some of the Zack Snyder scenes in there that you like. Then it was just the paintbrush that Josh Whedon put in there. And the paintbrush was all these jokes. Like they cut out some of the jokes that he did with the Flash when he was cracking all these different type of jokes. Those weren't his. He cut out everything that was Josh Whedon. If Josh Whedon did it, no matter if it might have been a good scene, it was out of there. So it was just out of there. If Josh Whedon did it, it was out. And it had some humor in it, but it was dry humor with Zack Snyder. Zack's not a good writer, but he definitely is a great, as far as action scenes. He's really good for action scenes. So when they went to the cave and the scene where he's just like going all crazy and all the jokes where Aquaman is sitting on the lasso and all these things are cut out. They get right to it. Even when they change some of the dialogue, like when Cyborg catches Aquaman in the air and he's like, ride's not over. And he throws him back in the air. Ride's not over. That line is removed. And he's just like, you're welcome. And just throws him back in there. Now, ride's not over makes a lot more sense and a better line for that actual scene. But Josh Whedon changed that because it was just so bland. It's so Zack Snyder. You're welcome. I mean, yeah, it was really bland. Now, what I liked was the way they brought back Superman. Now, all of this, a lot of it was used in the original, but the difference is you get to see it in full. And when he comes back, and he doesn't really know who he is at the time, all of this was, I guess, what Zack Snyder shot. But what they cut out of it is when the scene he's going after Batman, they kind of edited it. It was a little too violent. And they didn't want to have Superman in that light. They wanted him to be fluffy. So that's why they wanted to put him in the red and blue cape again and not put him in the black, Superman in the black outfit. They don't want him in the black outfit, even though the fans wanted to see Superman in his black outfit. The fans want to see it. Warner Brothers say, no, we don't want to see it. Why? The fans are the ones who buying this. They wanted to see black Superman. Why is everybody feeling like they the champ? I beat you last. Last time we played, I beat you. And then the game stopped on the last one. We never finished. I'm gonna have to get back on the sticks again and show people what time it is, I guess. Yeah, you won the one game. I came back and beat you the next. Y'all gonna make me grab this stick and had to get down on some people. Overall, this is an outstanding film, man. I mean, I loved all 4 hours of it because it gave me exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to see the grit. I wanted to see the way it was supposed to be. Now, bringing in Martian Manhunter, that was just fan service. Having him come in like this, because I'm like, well, damn, you should have actually did something a long time ago. And what it did was actually strengthen what DC could have been. Like, if watch Warner Brothers fumble all this. They were just gonna say, "Oh, we just finished that for the fans. Now we're gonna go ahead and do some other stuff." I'm be like, "You stupid! You could just follow right behind this line because having Superman go bad down the road, that could be a possibility." See, the last game we played, I did not get smashed. We played after that. Don't you realize that? I got smashed that game. Well, because I turned the ball over. You couldn't score on me. Your defense was scoring. So we played again. And then the tables had turned dramatically. Oh, Dark Side was incredible. Because they actually show the battle with Dark Side when he tried to come over and take over Earth the first time. And what happened when they went against Zeus, they went against everybody. The gods, the Atlanteans, and all of them, and how that battle went. Well, you get to see a lot of the scenes that made sense come together. Like when they went to Atlantis, like they kind of make up for Orm not being there. They talked about his brother not being there, and why Aquaman came and did what he did. Orm still didn't join the battle because they only had like the budget for like maybe four four people in the water guarding the doggone mother box. I don't know what DC next move is, to be honest. Because of the COVID, it stopped a lot of stuff. Like Shazam 2 is supposed to come out. And I'm more interested in seeing what Shazam's going to do because they have more idea and more creative control over there because they have an idea of what they want to do. Dark Side versus Thanos. Uh, not with not with those Omega beams. I don't think once he got those Omega beams, it's over for Thanos. Oh yeah, Joker and Batman. That was great dialogue at the end. But notice how the fight with they showed you what a badass my man Steppenwolf was. But Steppenwolf could not he could not do anything with Superman. Superman could destroy him easily, as he did, and he was vicious with it too. And that's part of the mother box in him. He's got his violent side is more released. And he was just vicious, going off, boom, boom, cut off his horn with his laser, took his armor off of him, punching him. I'm like, uh-oh, he getting it like this. Then it's like all of them took him out. They put the Triton through his chest. Aquaman. They slung him in the air. And Superman punched him. Poof! Then Wonder Woman jumped off the rock, came down, and cut his head off. Then he went through the portal, boom, and landed right in front of Darkseid, man. Darkseid's looking down at them, and they looking up at him like, yeah, come on down here. Come on down if you want. So they were like, okay, we'll get it the old-fashioned way. That was way more vicious than they Feed on Fear. They cut out all those scenes that you saw with the Russians and all that. Oh, here it is. The Russians are coming. Like this Russian family was there. It was just stuff that just didn't matter. They had to save this Russian family, and the Flash is saving them in the car and pushed them. All of that felt forced and unneeded. It's like, what are we doing with this Russian family? Like, who are they? And the little girl got the can of bug spray. That's all Josh Whedon. They had to get that out of there. They did the right thing. Yeah, so the Batman, hopefully is getting finished now. Everybody there had COVID. Like all the stars, Robert Pattinson had it, and then about 4 other people got sick, so they had to stop production on the Batman. And this is like Batman's early days of being Batman. Like first time out the gate, the Batcave ain't really right. And this is like a real darker version of what we got with Nolan's version of it. But I kind of like the Dark Knight Rises, so I want to see where they go here. Wonder Woman, she was vicious. She's a threat. And people don't realize that the Wonder Woman that they were seeing, by that time to where she's at in present time, she has done so much. Like she's like, I've killed gods before. Like I've killed other things way better than that. So she's already been through war. So she's been through everything. It's not like when you seen the Wonder Woman movie, that was like going way back in time when she first was Wonder Woman. I don't think. I mean, my thing is they should have revealed it at the end. Revealing it in the middle of the movie was like, okay, then why did you have the shot at the end? I think they just releasing all of it. So it was like, look, we shot this scene, we shot that scene, put it all in there. So look, we don't need to deleted scenes. Just go and put everything in there. Well, DC has all these ideas. I mean, we've never seen Brainiac because Warner Brothers believe that Brainiac looks too scary. We didn't get the right Superman movie 3 times because they just don't know what Brainiac should look like. They want to change what he looks like, period. Well, Lois Lane was kind of out of place. They're making her an important piece because she's the one that is the only one that can keep Superman sane. Now, without Lois, he ain't gonna really give a damn. Which is kind of not how Superman is wired. Superman has this sense of duty to save people. It's his humanity is what makes him who he is. So he's not just somebody who's all wrapped into just Lois Lane. Lois Lane is that construct. Oh, they got in Superman 4, Brainiac was supposed to be in it. They cut that scene out. When he made the Superman, when they went to space to make me Nuclear Man, it was Nuclear Man 1 and 2. One was Brainiac, or what was his name? I don't even think that was Brainiac. I think that was the Weirdo. I think that was Weirdo. And that looked so bad, but because of YouTube, you could see they actually filmed that scene. I'm like, and they had to cut it because Burger King pulled their sponsorship from the movie. And it was shot by Burger King. And then Superman 5 got blown up and they couldn't get it off the ground. Well, the script was already written, but they didn't like it because, in the end, Superboy dies, and Superman will have to lose his son. He had to choose between Earth and his son. And Superboy dies, and he saves the world, but Superboy dies.
But the other half are against three.
Oh yeah, I told you, Brainiac comes. That was part of the script. Brainiac came to New Krypton that was floating around in space. He ended up habiting that. He finds out that Brainiac is the reason that Krypton blew up in the first place. It was him. Brainiac Brainiac finds New Krypton because he's like, wait a minute, I thought I blew that place up. And this looks just like Krypton. What the hell is this? So he's there on New Krypton. Superman, there's some activity up there. So he's like some life form. He thinks he's another being from Krypton. And he fools Superman into believing he's from his planet. And then he comes there and he's helping Superman. And Superman's like, okay, great. I got a friend that's going to help me save people. And he's like, I don't mind saving people. But they should be paying you, like you should be rewarded for this. Like, you're not getting rewarded, like you're not getting any money, these people, why are you being subservient to them? Like they should look at you as a god. They should be bringing you offerings, and like Brainiac's like what's going on here? So Brainiac convinces him to just go ahead, and he's telling him, oh, there's other Kryptons, like other survivors on other planets, just like me. So Superman is all like, ooh, this is great. More family. He's like, yeah, go tell them they can come here. Go look for them. So as soon as Superman leave Earth, Brainiac just enslaved the entire planet. Soon as Superman got up out of here. Yeah, beautifully written. Matter of fact, it's probably on the internet right now because I think Kevin Smith wrote it. No, that was the sequel. That was Man of Steel. That was gonna be the Man of Steel one. They were gonna redo that one, and when they was gonna make the Superman Returns, that was gonna be that. But the Brainiac story was set up based off because at the end of it, Superman throws the Krypton beam all the way into space. Anyway, Superman throws that crystal that keeps growing, that's full of kryptonite. That turns into Krypton. They call it New Krypton. It's floating in our universe. That was setting up Brainiac to come into the movie. On the deleted scenes on the radio, they play the deleted scenes from it, and they play the fact that it's New Krypton. That was setting up Man of Steel, and they kept going into negotiations back and forth for Man of Steel, and what's his name? Snyder ended up leaving it, but they actually had a great plan for it. So Brandon Routh was gone, and they came in with Man of Steel, which is like almost a retelling. No, the thing about Zack Snyder is he's good at shooting action scenes. He's not good at making a movie flow together. Look at all his films he's done. It's been the same way. The dialogue is so dark and gloomy, and that seems like his personality. He just can't make it gel. Like he doesn't know how to have conversation and dialogue. It's just it's so existent like that. He said, "I love his films." I know. It's like Punch. What was that? Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch sucked as a movie, but the action scenes were outstanding. But if you look at all of his movies, Sucker Punch, you could fit Superman them right into that script. I mean, you could put the whole Justice League in there. All his movies are dark. It's almost like you like, man, can somebody brighten this up a little bit? All the colors are dark. If it's a red, it's a dark red. If it's a blue, it's a dingy blue. Everything is dark. There's no light to anything that he does. Everything is so dark and gloomy and just I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, my old Peaston came back. Yeah, she back in the fold. Oh man. This used to be my every time I stop in the town, boy. Woo wee. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all don't even know. Woo wee. Y'all have no idea. The things I used to do here, buddy. Woo wee. Oh no, this ain't no pizza girl. She's talking about some. I'm still funny, Dawn of the Dead wasn't a dark movie. And you talking about the remake of Dawn of the Dead? The movie that was already basically designed. He couldn't fail that one. But you think that it wasn't dark. It's called Dawn of the Dead. So this was pretty much going on in the daytime, in the daylight. But if you once they get into the mall, everything's kind of dark. But I love that movie though. Dawn of the Dead that's his best movie he's ever made. They trying to get my money. Well, it ain't gonna be none for them to get.
Is a high quality science.
That sucks. Shaun of the Dead better. We gonna chill here till it blow over. Hmm? Oh, this just picked up. She's ready to go already. She's ready to pick up where we left off. Ooh, wee. She's putting them on the glass. All right. I'm gonna have to get out of here, fellas. We'll have to talk about this later.